all hooked up and heading down to work, as well as taking all that stuff off the top of the trailer. Had to sweep out the trailer because it still had remnants of sand and gravel, because that's where I dumped it all. There was just a little bit left, so I just swept it out, because even though it was damp, I don't want that sort of stuff flying out of the back of the trailer as I'm driving. It's got the trailer all hooked up. It hooked up a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, because I remember when I unhooked it, I had a hard time getting it off the tow ball, but that was because it was full of sand and gravel. Got it all hooked up, drove up, checked all my lights, because the last thing you want to be doing is driving down and having somebody behind you and they don't see either your brake or your indicator, so it's one thing I always make sure of. It started to rain while I was doing that. It looks clearer down towards work. Forecast said rain at the house possibly around 2 o'clock. 8:15 now. I should get down to work just after 9. I've got to stop on the way at the gas station and just check the air in the tyres on the trailer. It's been sitting still, so I'm pretty sure they're going to have a slow leak in it. And they do need new tyres still. Let me get some money. I don't want to take too long down there, but I might take a bit of time, because my wife sent me a message in the night on my phone so that I'd see it in the morning. We did an online shop with Woolworths. We normally get those delivered, and somehow she missed something when she was doing the final part of the order, and it went through as a direct to boot order. So you pull up near the loading dock of the grocery store and they just put your groceries directly into your boot. Or they wheel a trolley out so you can do it. I don't know that bit yet. But we got instructions on go to this particular store, so it'll be Emu Plains I've got to go to, and it'll be ready between 12 and 1 to be collected between 12 and 1. Emu Plains is roughly half an hour from work. If I leave work maybe around 11, between 11:30 and 12, I can stop for the groceries on the way back, because I'm not going to drive all the way back with the timber and then come back down. He's diving into the weeds. Did a phone consult with my doctor, and she sent me my script as an e-script, so it's that little QR code doobie bob. I can do that after everything else. That's the plan for the day. Make sure I get enough of my timber back to fix the deck, the upper deck railings. Definitely need to replace one section. The other two sections aren't bending, but I can feel some sponginess in them already on the surf on the top. So it's probably just a better idea to replace it all if I can. I doubt I'm going to find something long enough to do the whole thing. Fingers crossed. I'm pretty sure I've got enough there. Alrighty. This is our storage shed at school. The old one got eaten out by termites, but the slab was still here, and we got it replaced with a steel one, which is perfect. I got the kids to build this rack years ago in the old one, and we managed to salvage most of it that wasn't attached to the actual wall. And this steel framing came from an ex-staff member. When I look around here, quite a lot of this stuff is from my place. Like all of that. That was all stuff that just got dumped down here during the bushfires. All of this hardwood, that's all my old decking pieces, so all of that and this stuff. The majority of that, I think that's all my pallets and things. Quite a lot of that. Quite a lot of that. And looking through here, might have remembered I said, if you'd seen some of the other ones when I was cutting a door apart, I said I did have a Tassie oak door that I'd cut apart before. That's here. This stuff in the corner's mine. All this dowel is mine. A lot of the timber underneath. All this door frame stuff is mine. This stuff, these two big chunks I got this from a guy. It used to be one long beam, and he said he couldn't get it out, and so he chopped it in half. Let's see the cut. This is the stuff I was thinking about for the side of the house. Because I'll get the tape measure, I'm pretty sure that's close to the same dimension. I can quickly run into the workshop and run it through the thickness of 2 to clean that, but I'll just check the length of it, because if it's not over 6 foot, it's no good to me. And in terms of the pickets, there's one I've made before. I made a stack of them, so I had spares. All of these things, I wish I could use those. They were the old pickets from the inside stairs. And then I had these ones that I made for the outside stairs, but then we changed the designs. Actually, they're all spares, because I made a lot more than I thought I'd need, because I was going to do it all around the top of the landing as well. I just don't like throwing stuff away. I mean, this, I don't know what I'd do with something like that apart from glue it up into something else. It's Australian hardwood, you can't waste this stuff. Anyway, I'll go get a tape measure. I thought these were cockroaches when I first saw them. A whole stack of crickets. I've planed both sides. Originally I was just going to skip plane, but they were all varying thicknesses. So one's kind of skip plane, the others are fairly clean. So they're all the same thickness now. But the difference in width, unless that's just because that's warped. And, this one is just 140. And I don't want to go trimming these down too much before taking them home, because now the very end piece I don't need to change at all. So I'm going to take them home like this. I can use my electric hand plane just to skip plane these if I need to, or get them down to thickness. And that's what I'll do. Now I've just got to find some stuff for pickets, and I'll just prep it all to 30 by 30 and use the big saw here. It's a bit more stable than mine. So I found an old Oregon door frame, an old exterior door, And I've got that cut out of it, my little 30 by 30s. I'm only going to be able to get one picket out of each of these because they're only 1700 long and each picket's about 1 metre, 1,000. That's all my offcuts. I don't think out of these, I don't think I could get any more 30 by 30s out of there, but I'll just double check before I chuck it all. I won't be able to. This is just under 30, which means that I won't be able to get a 30 by 30 square out of this side. So I'm just going to clean the ends off these because this can go back in the storeroom. Because even though I can't get 30 by 30s, could be used for something later. I'll just chuck all that stuff. This took longer than I thought, and probably because I was stripping up all the timber and making use of the nice saw and the thicknesser, especially with the big stuff, getting it run through the thicknesser. But stripping down that timber of the door took a bit of time, because when I was carrying it all back down, I realised it was already 11:48 now, and I grabbed some extra pieces that I can possibly strip down for pickets at the house if I need more. So I've got enough there for 8. I don't know how many I'm going to need because I haven't really checked how many are rotten. I'm now heading to Emu Plains to Woolies to pick up my order, or my wife's, our order. And it says direct to boot, so when you get there you're supposed to park, text them a message or message them through the app, and then they bring your shopping out and put it directly into your boot. I don't want them putting it into my back seat, so I'm going to have to get them to just put it in the tray. When I shop, I can pack a lot into a bag. When Woolies and Coles do deliveries, they put such a little amount of stuff into the bags. We did a Coles order. It's the amount of stuff that I would probably fit in the back here, and they put it into 16 bags, and they charge you for all of those bags too. The single use, or you can reuse them, plastic bags, 15 cents a bag. The stuff I cleaned up for those bottom rails are all around about 2 meters long, so I've got a little bit of play with them. I want to try and do half lap joints like I did down the very end. I rebuilt the very end of the deck because it was using a very old version of the railings that were very low, and I did half laps so that the bolt going into the post was going through both pieces strongly, whereas I've noticed with some of this bottom rail, they've just got it basically butting up to each other on the post, and there's a bolt with a washer kind of just holding on to both pieces, and then there's screws through the other 2 sections. So I'm going to do half laps, roughly 3/4 inch half lap joint. I'll show you that more when I'm at the house. It's interesting that this is the first time I've been along this section of the freeway where they haven't reduced the speed limit down to 80 for roadworks, and I'm wondering if this is actually now considered finished, or whether they've just gone, we'll leave it at 110 because we've got no workers around because we're all staying home because of COVID. It looks pretty close to finish. That was an interesting new experience. Direct to boot. When I got to the Woolworths, they got 3 little parking bays that are all painted green and say direct to boot. And you have your Woolworths app, which I had to download. My wife messaged me when I was at work and said, have you got the app? Nope, got that. Logged in. And when you get there, it says that your order's ready to pick up. So you've got a little button that says, I'm here, or I'm 15 minutes away. So I had a few issues because first of all I couldn't log into the app. Then when I finally got logged in, it wouldn't let me say I was here, eventually, after going out of the app and then back in, I was able to go, I'm here. But because I had the trailer, I was just lucky that their collection area is right next to their loading bay, loading dock area of the store. I backed the trailer down into their loading dock up against the bins, so I was out of the way. And it was just as well I did that too, because a delivery truck arrived and asked me if I was going further down, and I said no, and so he backed down part next to me. And all of a sudden this girl appears out of like the side door that comes out to a walkway to the loading dock and walks up towards the collection bays. You know, name, whatever, gives you your invoice and pick order and everything like that. Sure enough, it's in a lot of their dirty little plastic bags. The hands were filthy. I don't know why they're so dirty. And I don't actually have any of my shopping bags in the truck, like my cold bags or anything there. They're all taken out because I was putting something else in here or whatever. But I don't have them. So I put all of the shopping into the tray and put a tarp over it. I've already got a net in the tray so nothing goes anywhere, but I just thought I'd put a tarp over it to help stop anything blowing around as well, and nothing's going to move because it's all pretty weighty. I pushed it right up against the back of the cab, and it's a cold enough day because we got cold stuff there. There's a few other people who showed up and did that. The car park was really crowded, all wearing masks, except again I saw a woman coming out with a mask. There were two boys who were probably 12 and under, no masks. Like, kids could catch it. I saw in the news that like they've been issuing fines to people. Most of the fines have been on public transport. They showed footage which was from the woman who was not wearing a mask, and she was recording the police who was telling her that she needed to wear a mask or she had to get off the train. And she was going, I don't need to wear a mask, I have an exemption. But she wouldn't provide any evidence for the exemption. And the chief health officer even said, like, if you've got an exemption from wearing a mask for a medical reason, you have to have a letter from your doctor, so that if they come up to you and say, like, well, aren't you wearing a mask, you can provide evidence as to why you're not wearing a mask. She was sitting there arguing with these two police officers, and one of them just picked her bag up off the seat and said, you're coming off the train. And they took her off the train, and then I think they had to walk her off the train station. Some guy in some shopping centre, I can't remember if they said which shopping centre, was refusing to put a mask on when he was, and they came up to him in the shopping centre, and he was yelling and screaming and saying he didn't have to wear a mask, it's his right to not wear a mask, and they're saying there's health order, that's a mandatory mask thing. The security and the police actually physically picked this guy up and carried him out of the shopping centre. The police officers on public transport even say, we have a mask, if you don't have your own mask, have the mask. Or I heard something where they were saying it's $1 for a mask. I think some shopping centres and stuff just give them out. Yeah, have a mask, have a mask. The woman refused, so she got an instant fine. I think it was $200 fine for not wearing a mask. And when I was at work, the GA saw me and he came over to me and asked me how long I was going to be there. And he said he was just going to head down to Bunnings, and he made a comment that Bunnings will not let you into the store if you don't put a mask on. They will hand you a mask if you don't have one of your own, but they will not let you into the store. And I commented that, like, I couldn't believe it. I went to the doctors and there was that dude who was not wearing a mask, and he walked in and sat down without a mask on. And he then told me that a similar situation thing happened down at the shops at Plumpton, where some guy was ranting and raving in there that he didn't need to wear a mask, and security just picked him up and walked him out too. So I'm wondering if that was the story that was on the news. I'm driving through Blaxland. The only person, I just saw someone without a mask because she was sipping her coffee, so her mask was under her chin. There's someone without a mask. Bloke putting one on. Every person has a mask. It's not a big deal. And right here, Blaxland, an employee of the supermarket there who worked from like 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the Sunday and then got tested later that day after work and turned out to be positive. So everybody who went into the store that day is considered a close contact and needs to get tested. Because this is so contagious. I think New South Wales had 22 new cases yesterday. And while I was at the school, I did see some of our Year 12s arriving for holiday classes that are still going ahead. I just hope they're careful, because two of them that I saw arriving You are Year 12. You are a young adult. You are not immune to this thing. It's there. See it? There it is. Good boy. Is that a happy dog or what? Look at that face. Just went and collected my script with stuff from my neck, my arms, and that sort of thing. And right across from where I was parked was the bottle shop. Haven't had anything to drink alcoholic for a number of weeks now. I've actually forgotten how long ago it was, so it's been a while. And I'm not going to just say it's because I'm getting old and don't know when I've done things, but I keep getting or seeing posts about doing dry July. Now, I'm pretty sure that having a drink or two helped me through the last lockdown, and that's why I was surprised when my wife was asking what I wanted from the shops in our online shop that I didn't ask for a carton of beer, because I would before. I'd always get a carton of beer in the shopping. Today's the 1st of July. I think I'm going to find that website and sign up for Dry July. Stay alcohol free for a month. For somebody who likes to drink, I'm really surprised that I haven't. Actually, the other day, I felt like one. I felt like I really could have done with a beer after doing some stuff around the house. But I think I'll sign up for Dry July. Not sure what the charity... Oh, it's for cancer. That's why I was really considering it. Cancer research. I think I'll look it up. probably sign up, and I'll see what the information is and see if I can flick it into this or tomorrow's or whenever the next one's going to be.